All right. So good morning, everyone. Representatives. We, in behalf of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, we are pleased to be invited in the second run of your webinar, and on behalf as well of our corporate planning office, we are pleased to present the Civil Aviation Authority's environmental sustainability initiatives. But before I officially start, I would also would want to recognize the presence of our leads, environment and natural resources in the region. I've seen one from, wait, let me check the participants list, but I've seen one from Batangas. Um, I apologize for I'm quite not privy on the how the military command works, but I do really appreciate the invitation from the Philippine Air Force for us to deliver this presentation. So we have one from Lipa. We also have as well Sendro, I think, as mentioned earlier. But nonetheless, allow me to share my slide. So basically, we're just going to have a run through of our initiatives on the international, regional, national level. Okay, so what is overview about the CAP? So we provide regulation of airmen, we provide air traffic and air navigation services. We also manage and operate airports. At the same time, we also conduct aircraft accident investigation. That is the four core mandates of the CAP based on the CAP law. Focusing further on our environmental initiatives, we will be discussing about the carbon offsetting reduction scheme for international aviation, also known as CORSIA. We will also discuss or touch base about the action plan on emissions reduction or the state action. We will also discuss the environment management system or the ISO 4001. We'll be discussing the sustainable aviation fuel that is a hot topic in the region, and also some of the initiatives towards the use of renewable energy. So just a background on CORSIA, sometime in 2018, we joined the ICAO CORS program, that is a carbon offsetting reduction scheme, uh, aimed to reduce the emission from the international aviation. So as a mandatory, it's a regulation to be imposed in the Philippines, we issued advisory number 01-18 and memorandum circular 32-18, both dated 14 December of 2018. So here's a copy of the state letter that we issue addressed to the back then Dr. Fang Liu of ICAO Secretary General. So who are the participating airlines for the CORSIA? So we have Philippine Airlines, Cebu Pacific, Pacific Air, PAL Express, and AirAsia. These airlines has an international operations, and since 2019, they are submitting their emissions, annual emissions. They monitor, report, and undergone verification of their emission, which has been submitted to the CAP as a state authority. In order for us to be able to implement CORSIA in the Philippines, we had to strengthen our interagency collaboration. That involves the DENR, the Philippine Accreditation Bureau for the of um, verification body. We have the DOTR and the Climate Change Commission. The Climate Change Commission, the DENR, has working closely for the national determined contribution, of which is a different set of project, but quite involved as well with towards the decarbonization of the sector by 2050. So, as mentioned earlier, DTIPAB will be the accreditation body for the Philippines. So, sometime in December 2022, through the efforts and collaboration of DTIPAB and the European Aviation Safety Agency, one verification body, local verification body, to Philippines, was able to be accredited via the PAB process. So in 2022, last year, December, we submit to the ICAO the recommendation of PAB for it to become a, 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 to be recognized as one of the verification bodies. So this document on your right, as you can see, as of December 2022, Philippines has one verification body, and this does not limit to the Philippines, but TUV suit can also perform verification of annual carbon emission with other states, such as Sudan, such as Thailand, and other, not just in the region, but also, I mean, global scale. So each verification body independently verifies its emission report prepared by the respective airline operator, considering that this should be falls under the requirements standards and recommend practice. Once verified, both the verification body and the airline operator shall submit their verified emissions report to the state authority, of which in our case it is the CAAP. So CAAP also conducts order of magnitude check to ensure that the data submitted by both the verified verification body and the airline operator are consistent and has limited to no data gaps. So based on the standards or the ICAO guidance document, it should be less than 5% of the data gaps. So if the data gap exceeded 5%, we have to return the document or the file to the either both VB AO for clarification. So next, what made us the project successful? We were able to strengthen our capacity building. So we, through the efforts as well of the EASA or the European Aviation Safety Agency, we were able to have an environment data management system wherein both the airline operators and the verification body submits their respective reports to this database. And this database will be our interface for us to be able to CAP to be able to conduct our order of magnitude check. Thereafter, we will submit the overall emissions to the ICAO central registry. So we were able also as well to strengthen our agency collaboration with the DTIPAD through the execution of Memorandum of Understanding. And we were able to send representatives from DTI to attend several workshops in the region funded and organized by the EASA. On the ICAO level, the CAP, through its voluntary participation, was able to attend several CORSIA regional workshops as well as global and regional workshops. And then on the level of the UNFCCC, we are closely working with the Climate Change Commission and the DOTR in reference to their reporting mechanism. After probably in a few slides, we will be discussing the domestic emissions. So next part is the Environment Management System, or the 14001-2015. So the ISO 14001 is the benchmark for all international standards on environment management system. It sets out criteria for effective EMS implementation, and it controls the environmental impacts of airport operation, as well as to provide cost-effective tools and best practices for EMS. Sometime in 2020, the Philippines, through the CAP, during the Project Management Board of the European Aviation Safety Agency, manifested its voluntary participation, highlighting or volunteering the Iloilo International Airport to be part of the program. So basically, since 2020, we were able to have the technical assistance from EASA in working towards the certification of ISO in Iloilo Airport. So what has been highlighted in this process? So we were able to first establish the plan to check and act as a mechanism to ensure that airport operation has its own documentation, manuals, implementation, the regulars or the system is properly performed, as well as to perform corrective actions of findings during inspections and internal audit. So it's not just about EMS, but the plan to check act cycle also involves not another management system. So what are the benefits of the EMS? For the case of Iloilo International Airport, we focus on five. First is compliance with solid waste segregation, wastewater management, reduction in usage of energy or electricity, and preventive maintenance of all equipment, as well as equipment to prevent air pollution. So what were the significant improvements for the Iloilo International Airport? So we had 100% segregation of solid waste from source. We also had 100% preventive maintenance of equipment. We had 100% EMS inspection of concessionaires because concessionaires play a vital part as well in the airport operation, especially in the passenger terminal building. We had 10% reduction in the use of electricity annually since 2019. We had recorded 913,000 in peso reduction in the cost. For 2022, it increases to 589, and in 2021, 475,000. We also reduced the percentage of reduction of the water use, respectively from 11.2, 4.5, and 4.2. So I think last week or last September 14, finally we were able to conduct the awarding ceremony for Iloilo International Airport. They were given the certification back then in May of this year. However, due to the efforts of both local government, the CAAP, and the European Aviation Safety Agency, last 14 September, they formally awarded the certificate of the ISO certification for ISO 14001 to the Iloilo International Airport. So in the picture, as you can see, we have our Director General, the airport manager, Ms. Palma, and the area cluster, Mr. Monserrate. So we have DG Tamayo as well on the center. Next one is, sorry, there's a chat. Okay. All right. So in order to have an higher impact in terms of decarbonizing the sector by 2050, um, publications and regional forums always highlighting the importance of the sustainable aviation fuel. So SAF represents the major driver to decarbonize the sector, not just in the region, but globally as well as in the Philippines. It is highlighting as well that the stakeholder engagement is the key role in creating the national SAF value chain. It is a strategic direction for the role of SAF that is defined in the mid to long-term national SAF roadmap, and key knowledge of available SAF feedstock technologies has to be generated first. And for CAAP, benefiting from the SAF opportunities can be done via both horizontal and vertical national approach. So for the information of everyone, SAF right now, it's basically based on the publication, it should have the same physical and chemical composition together with the Jet A1 fuel. So if there's an ample supply of feedstock that has undergone technological process, it could decarbonize the sector by, they're saying, by 2030, depending on the number and availability of the supply chain in the country. So, next.